Hey people, this is Conrad Layn here, hanging out. Just wanted to actually go a deep dive in regards to insurance deductibles and what my dynamic strategy is. So I'm gonna give my dynamic strategy to you on a platter so you can take notes and utilize this yourself or not. Take at your own risk. I'm not telling you what to do, what not to do. What I am sharing is simply my strategy of what has worked for me to allow me to reach the ranks of all-star host, and I'm also a power host at the same time at both rankings. And so maybe I might know what I'm talking about, you know. So up to you for you to decide. I am not perfect, but this is what has worked for me. This is in my opinion. Choose to do at your own risk. So let me dive right into my strategy. So what I try to do my best is implement a dynamic strategy in regards to insurance. Before I dive further into that, I've been insurance licensed for over 8 years as an insurance agent. I specialize in insurance mitigation, which simply means risk reduction. So my goal is to, when I meet with a clientele of mine from my business side, completely unrelated from Turo, pretty much I have clients that actually will contact me, and my job and my task is to make sure that I do my best to limit their risk as much as possible. But remember, there's inherent risk in business at all. By nature of business, there's always going to be risks and liabilities. So my goal is to bring it down as far as possible. So that's what I'm going to do for you guys. I'm going to share my strategy. Insurance license for over 8 years. I'm also real estate licensed. I have a lot of experience in regards to insurance mitigation. So I'm going to go over the deductibles on how I reduce the risk. Doesn't mean there's still not a risk, but it just means reduce the risk. So what I typically like to do first is I like switching around my deductibles. The reason this is, there's a few different plans. There's a Turo Insurance Plan 60, which is a $0 deductible insurance plan. There's also the Turo 70 insurance plan, which is a $250 deductible plan. And then there's also the Turo 75, which is it's a $750 deductible. And there's Turo 80 insurance plan, which is a $1,625 deductible. And then there's the Turo 85, which is a $2,500 deductible. And there's actually been a new strategy that Turo's implementing and paying us hosts $30 million. So we're actually getting a 5% boost on all the plans I just mentioned. So for example, except the 60. So for example, the 70 typically would be paid 70%. Will actually now be paid 75%. For the if you have the 80, and you'll make 80% income, and then you'll make now you'll be boosted 5% boost. You'll get paid 85%, and then 85 you'll be boosted to 90% of pay. So we're being paid more. But this is not what the video is about. The video is about dynamic strategy. So typically what I like to do is, for example, and now I'm gonna actually help you guys to start developing risk management strategies, and also insurance mitigation strategies and actuarial strategies. What that means basically is that you're going to become better at numbers after watching this video. You're going to want to do your best to implement this and figure out the logic of numbers and math. Math is a universal language. So anyways, what I typically like to do is I like to make sure that no matter what the case is, I record and create my own separate log. So anytime there's an accident, I'll record the color of the car, the VIN number, the year, make, and model of the vehicle, how the accident occurred. And the reason this might, which I know a lot of hosts don't do this, and most people in general don't do this, but again, I've been insurance licensed for over 8 years. I'm also real estate licensed as well, and I specialize in insurance mitigation and risk reduction. So I do this because typically I realize people don't know how to do research. Second, they don't typically like to do research. And third, for people that do understand how valuable data is, they'll just pay someone to do it for them, which is nothing wrong with that. Because especially when you have lack of time, you need to pay someone who's already done the research, someone like myself, you know. But that's not what we're doing here. I'm gonna teach you guys how to do it yourself. Because for those that don't maybe have the money to afford an insurance mitigation specialist, you gotta learn how to get these numbers yourself. This will give you a huge edge at any competition, and this is a universal truth that you can take to any business, not just Turo, any business. So first thing I like to do, I create a separate log. So anytime there's an accident, I don't like accidents, but what I do with accidents, I use data, and I'll record the color of the car. I'll record the year, make, and model, the net worth of what the vehicle's worth based on Kelley Blue Book and also other various appraisal ways of appraising a car. I'll actually figure out what type of person, what was the demographic, the age that drove the car at the time, and I keep this. And my goal is keeping and developing my own information so that in the long run, especially if you plan for business to last in the long run, this information that happens today might not be valuable today, but 10 years from now, 15 years from now, even 1 year from now, it'll be valuable, because guess what you'll do with that log, that separate log? You'll simply, when you get in an accident with any car, you'll record it again, but then you'll compare it to your notes, even if it's a different make and model, especially if it's the same make and model, the demographic, and you'll start finding a parallel of different coincidences or occurrences that seem similar. And what you're supposed to do at that point is use that and you try to figure out the chance and likelihood of an accident. This, my friends, is how you actually select different deductibles, what I call the Layn shuffle. So the Layn shuffle is this. I might come in at a Turo 60 insurance plan, right? But I might switch it during the summer, maybe to a 70, or I might switch it in the winter, maybe back to a 60. I go through the different insurance plans. I try to learn them inside out as much as I possibly can. I'm not perfect, I'm human at the end of the day, but I do my best to learn as much as possible, all the deductibles, what they cover, for example, and how I can actually hedge myself against risk. I do the same when I invest in stocks as well. I'll purchase a stock, but I'll figure out a more conservative stock. So for example, if I invest in crypto, for example, I might invest, say, 5 or 10% in crypto, but I'll invest 90% into a conservative asset. So a more stable stock is what I mean. So a stock that's been around for a long time. Example. So that's what I do. So I take the same methodology into actually my car investments and insurance asset risk reduction. So what I do is, say if it's winter, maybe slower, for hypothetical senses. Every demographic, every state, every city is different. But just for hypothetical and example purposes, people, so let's say it gets slower in the wintertime, whatever the case is, I'll move it up to the 85. Because hey, it's less likely. Yes, it can happen because it's always risk, not impossible, not 0%, not 100% guaranteed. There always going to be risk, but less likely for there to be an accident in the winter. Example purposes. Now, in the summer, when there's more frequency of traffic, people fly into California, want to have that summer fun from all over the world. I might move it down to maybe a 70 or 75, or hey, I might even go to 60 because I want to reduce the deductible because it's more likely that it might be an accident. Doesn't mean that there will be an accident, it's less likely. And by doing that, you fluctuate from not always, because the thing is, when you pick, say, for example, the Turo 85 has a $2,500 deductible, but you're making 85% of the income that you're accruing from your vehicle assets that you've acquired and put onto the platform. The difference is when you select 60, for example, yeah, it has a huge coverage, you have a $0 deductible, but you're paying 40% of the asset income you're accruing from your vehicles there per se. So typically, you don't want to keep it and be stagnant. Stagnant is like, you know, when you go to a stagnant pond. I love fish. I grew up fishing with my father. But if you go to a stagnant pond, there's like a stench. There's like mosquitoes surfacing because there's no flow. That's a great analogy to consider. No business should be stagnant. There should be a flow of life and everything. See how the water's moving in the jacuzzi, pretty much back and forth. That's life. However, when we have sitting pool of water, it starts creating a scent. There's mold that grows, there's fungi that grows, like it just stinks, you know. And just like a business strategy, it stinks if it's stagnant. So don't let your insurance strategy with Turo or any business you implement, and this is universal truth, don't let it stink. And this is what I tell my clients, don't let your business plan stink. Change it up, adapt, and that's where you have to be dynamic. That's the difference, that's the opposite. Don't be stagnant, be dynamic. Being dynamic, you're always in the market, you're staying fresh, you're implementing different researches you've discovered, you're conducting your own research, you're not just relying on people to give you research, and sometimes the research might be wrong. Sometimes you have an inside perspective if you just learn how to gather the knowledge. This is what I share with my clients. I'm sharing this with you guys for free. I don't know how clear I need to make this. This is very valuable, and anyone starting any business, not just Turo, any business, take notes in this. I am a business consultant. I specialize in insurance, mitigation, risk reduction. Listen to what I'm saying. Again, I'm not charging anyone. I'm not your advisor. I'm not telling you what to do or what not to do. I'm giving my opinion, what has worked for me to allow me to become an all-star host and also a power host. So please, I'm leaving also 2 additional videos below. One goes into because there's 2 ways you can file a claim. You can either go the traditional way with Turo, and you can file through Turo insurance plan and file a claim through Turo directly. It's also really encouraged and recommended for you to actually settle it with independently as well. I have 2 videos. One that goes deep dive explanation into independent claims, which a lot of hosts don't know about. Second goes into also what the best insurance plan is for you. I actually answered that question. It's a very hard question to answer, but I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. I answered the question, which insurance plan you should actually select that will guard you at all times. and it's a dynamic approach. I'll leave that clue there, but the links are below for those 2 videos or 2 gems. Took a lot of time to actually do research in this, and again, I'm not your insurance agent, not your business consultant, I'm not your financial advisor. I'm not paid by you. I'm just giving this for free, and I'm not telling you what to do or what not to do. I'm just sharing what has worked for me, people. So you guys have a beautiful day. Thank you for sticking with me. Conrad Layn out, people. Peace.